By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/Hal Sparks, and you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks is a great way to support the channel as well. They're the folks who are responsible for all the gear, and as we go on the road again, that's the thing we're building out, and hopefully one day we'll have an actual studio. A boy can dream, can he? But that's what the Patreons are there to help us do. That, and of course, keep me fed and alive and clothed within reason. I am wearing pants, I promise. But lately, Kudlow has been making the rounds because I guess a lot of people don't want to go on Hannity anymore, so he's left to just interview other people on Fox. And so Fox Business host Larry Kudlow sounds off on Hannity on White House, locked into slashing fossil fuels despite massive deleterious effects on the economy, inflation. By the way, none of that is true. Let's just understand that right out. Hype train. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, Ninka Crinkles, for the gift subs. It's a great way to support the show. You can, if you're already subscribed and you want to help, you can gift subs to other people as well. Also, you can become a member on Facebook. Stars on Facebook really help. Hi, Facebook. I haven't bugged you guys in a long time. Yes, I might be wearing a kilt. You don't know. If it'll help get my numbers up, I'm not discounting them. It's a very strong possibility. Okay, here we go. So, thank you, Lynn, for the super chat. Bless you. Okay, Lene, sorry. My screen is very small on that part. It's very small. It's a reference screen so I can see what's going out on the show. And yeah, okay. Anyways, here we go. Hype train level 3, hype train level 3, hype train. Look at that. Come on, let's get it up to 5. I think we can do that. Come on, Twitch. You can do it. All right, here we go. Now, this is Biden appears to seek green energy future at all costs. Yes, by any means necessary. He's the Malcolm X of windmills. Let's see.
Now tonight, Americans continue to suffer under the surging costs of the Biden agenda. Of course,
the surging cost of the Biden agenda, which of course entailed years of corporate America moving factories overseas and Russia attacking Ukraine. Obviously, that was part of the Biden agenda, was forcing poor Russia to have to attack Ukraine.
The radical climate alarmist religious cult agenda, New Green Dealism.
New Green Dealism. That's a big end.
Inflation continues to hover at a 40-year high. Prices in the grocery aisle continue to soar. And gas.
Gee, I wonder who could be to blame for shortage of foodstuffs.
Gas prices, yep, hit another new record high, one after another under Joe Biden. Of course.
Actually, $11.56, the highest gas price I've seen, and that was under Trump.
He artificially reduced the world supply and gave.
No, he didn't.
Gave up energy independence.
No, he didn't.
Now,
we're still energy independent.
One example, for example.
Hey, asshole, by the way, if you're going to show prices going up, don't show them in descending order.
All across California, we're now seeing the price of a gallon of gasoline higher than the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour.
Oh, so you're for raising the minimum wage. That's lovely. Also, Americans are still paying more. They're currently at its highest point, are paying the same for a gallon of gas that Europeans pay for a liter of it.
But of course, as the
of course, because war and post-pandemic. But let's just pretend COVID never happened.
Crisis build up. And Biden's approval rating goes down to 32%. The White House, they just try to blame Putin. They blame COVID. They blame Fox. They blame Hannity.
No, nobody cares about you. Nobody thinks you actually have an impact on anything, Sean. Nobody.
Blame Trump. And today they blame the Federal Reserve. And meanwhile, Biden's energy crisis is.
Today they blame the Federal Reserve for what? For not being able to create supply?
Is going from bad to worse.
U.S. summer fuel charge could be worse than 1970s oil crisis, IEA chief. Okay.
As the International Energy Agency is warning, fuel shortages this summer could be worse than the oil crisis of the 70s.
Huh. Let's see if that's exactly what he said. U.S. summer fuel shortages could be the United States and Europe could experience fuel shortages this summer, if you include Europe, which gets most of their, like 22% of their oil from Russia. This summer, that could be worse. That's a lot of coulds. Could experience fuel shortages this summer that could be worse than the 1970s oil crisis as demand ramps up for travel season. Sometimes the stupid hurts. So Americans do have the means and wherewithal to travel, and so do Europeans, and therefore the demand on limited supply will drive the shortages because of limitations. The head of the International Energy Agency warned, when the main holiday season starts in Europe and the U.S., fuel demand will rise. Really? When the fuck did that happen? You're not talking about summer, are you? Then we could see shortages, for example, in diesel, petrol, or kerosene. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, that's not good, Sean. If I may. What's that say? Then we could see shortages, for example, in diesel, petrol, or kerosene. Anybody got a car running on kerosene right now? Particularly in Europe. Motherfucker. Honest to God. Gas is $9 a liter in Germany right now. Yeah. Yes, your car runs on windmills, of course. My car runs on bald eagle cancer, on tumors specifically. Barrow said the current energy crisis could be worse and longer lasting than the shocks of the 1970s. Back then, it was just oil, he said. Now we have an oil crisis, a gas crisis, and an electricity crisis simultaneously. He means we in Europe. Oil prices spiked sharply as a result of the outbreak of Yom Kippur War in 1973, as well as the Islamic Revolution in Iran in 1979. This year, energy prices have been pushed upward after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I'm sorry. I thought the Biden administration was blaming Russia, not Market Watch, which has further disrupted an already limited supply because we have plenty of oil, but they haven't made it through the refineries yet. Gasoline prices have soared nationwide in the U.S., hitting record highs over the Memorial Day weekend. American motorists are paying a nationwide average of $4.62 per gallon, and again, $9 a liter in Germany. Motorists in California were feeling the strongest pinch, with some gas stations in parts of Los Angeles, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Yosemite region charging in excess of $7.25 per gallon, more than the federal minimum wage. That's what he's referencing specifically. On average, gas in the Golden State costs $6.15 a gallon, more than in any other in the nation, according to the AAA. Californians are saddled with higher prices due to taxes and surcharges that are added to the baseline cost of fuel. I thought this was due to the Biden administration stopping the Keystone XL pipeline. In Los Angeles County, the most populous county in the country, gas prices reached around $6.16 per gallon over Memorial Day weekend, up almost $2 from the previous holiday record of $4.29 in 2012. Of course, $22 versus $12, different, but okay. The nationwide average, meanwhile, represents a 40% increase from the start of the year. It also is well above last year's level of $3.04. Analysts predict that more states will cross the $5 per gallon average by the 4th of July holiday as demand is expected to increase. Oh, so it's a supply and demand issue. Okay, while supply remains tight. Global oil prices also continue to tick upward. Brent crude, the international benchmark, surpassed $123 per barrel on Tuesday, reaching a two-month high. West Texas Intermediate, U.S. benchmark, reached more than $118 a barrel on Monday. Wait a minute. Why would West Texas crude versus Brent crude be lower? Oh, because there's more of it available. This article was first published in the New York Post. Look at that. Comedy jokes.
For those of you that don't remember those days, I grew up waiting online odd days, even days, for maybe $10 worth of gas, maybe $5 at the time. Now, it all comes as America.
And we all survived. Isn't that weird? The 80s were after that. So were the 90s. So were the early 2000s. It's almost as if we'd learned our lesson and gotten off of oil and gas way back then, we'd be further ahead by now. Man, I wish we hadn't killed the electric car in the early 90s.
Americans are growing more and more pessimistic about the Biden economy.
Gallup, economic pessimism growing in the U.S. Okay, hold on. Hold on. This is the Gallup thing. Here we go. Economic pessimism growing in the U.S. by Jeffrey Jones. Economic confidence index drops from 45 to 39. Confidence down because of poor ratings of current conditions. Inflation ties government as most important problem facing the U.S. Gallup's economic confidence measured negative 45 in May, down from negative 39 in each of the previous 2 months. It's the lowest rating Gallup's trend during the coronavirus pandemic, and likely the lowest confidence has been seen since the tail end of the Great Recession in early 2009. Gallup's economic confidence. Okay, here we go. This is 95. It's still above 2008. And again, this is apparently, look at this drop off. Patow. And oh, look at that. Look at the weird part about that. So here we go. September, but again, pow again. 2021, January, there you go, up, and then we're at negative 45. Okay. Gallup's Economic Confidence Index is a summary measure for America's perceptions of current economic conditions and their outlook for the economy. It has a theoretical range of plus 100 if all respondents say the economy is excellent or good, and that it is getting better, to negative 100 if they say it's poor and getting worse. The latest results are based on this conducted at a time of record high gas prices, elevated inflation, government reports of declining economic growth in the first quarter. That's the 0.09% or whatever, and a slump in the stock market, which rebounded almost immediately after this. Low employment is rarely a bright spot, but employers are still struggling to find workers to fill needed jobs, which is contributing to an ongoing supply chain problems. Gallup has measured their perceptions of the economy, blah, blah, less positive about current conditions. Currently, 14% of U.S. adults rate economic conditions as either excellent or good. 46% say they are poor, while another 39% rate the system as only fair. The confidence index takes into account the net of excellent and good versus poor responses, which is negative 32 this month. In April, 20% of Americans rated the economy positively, and 42% said it was poor, with a net of negative 22. Meanwhile, 20% of Americans say the economy is getting better, and 77% say it is getting worse. Essentially the same as in April and March. It's not news. It's not growing. It's the same. And largely, it's the news. Like, when have these motherfuckers talked up the economy?
Look at the Gallup numbers. The Economic Confidence Index,
failure of news, by the way,
has now cratered to a whopping minus 45. That's the lowest.
That's this guy. That's the lowest since 2008.
Since the tail end of the recession in 2009. Here with reaction, Fox Business host Larry Kudlow and...
Hi, Gin Fizz. I mean, Sean Hannity.
That recession was pretty steep and deep and wide. I really have two.
It was steep and deep and wide. Talk dirty to me, Sean.
Questions. I don't see that they're doing a single thing, to me, that would help us recover.
Gee, I can't imagine why Fox News viewers wouldn't feel that the entire world is cratering around them with all this balanced and fair news.
As a matter of fact, one of the best things they could do for...
Thanks, Julie. We needed a troll. I appreciate that.
Inflation is return to energy independence. That would be an easy fix.
We're already energy independent.
For inflation and the...
We still are. Thanks, Caroline.
High cost of everything we buy in every store we go to. Number one. Number two, you know the economy as well as anybody I know.
Oh, so you don't know any economists?
For those Americans, 2/3 of which are now living paycheck to paycheck, what advice do you give them? What about their 401ks?
Citation needed.
What about their IRAs, their retirement money? What do you...
Yeah, people living paycheck to paycheck don't have IRAs and retirement in general.
Tell them to do at this point.
I would say move to China. It's going to be great.
Well, Sean, thank you for having me on again.
And I'm drunk. I'm fucking hammered.
And let me tackle the first point.
Yeah.
You know, Biden's article in the Wall Street Journal today that was the talk of
That's, by the way, why he's on there responding to this.
the town had no new inflation plan, anti-inflation plan. It had nothing. I mean,
Well, that's because we're staring down the barrel of deflation because it's not monetary inflation we're dealing with. It's supply shock. And right now, can I show you something? Oh, okay, hold on. U.S. inventories up, retailers. Now, you guys know that for a while I have been talking about the fact that technology in essence is deflationary anyways. And you can tell because you can buy a laptop now for $2,000 that is 100,000 times more powerful than a $3,000 desktop was 20 years ago. That's how it's deflationary. Gets cheaper, faster, and better all the fucking time. Now, everything else, though, because of supply chains, cheapness, what people want and how they get it, is deflationary because we're automating more stuff. There's a lot of reasons. But I would like to show you something that throws a monkey wrench in this idea that we are staring down the barrel of inflation that's just run away and it's gonna, we're gonna be stuck with it for the time being. U.S. retailers' ballooning inventory set stage for deep discounts. May 27th, 2022. I have to register to read this? Continue to read? Okay, well, fuck you. Hold on. I'll find one where it's not listed. One second. I'll do news. Yeah, here you go. Here's a NASDAQ story on it. This is the right wing. Here you go. This is the right wing NASDAQ. That incredibly lefty organization, the NASDAQ. Focus. U.S. retailers ballooning inventories set stage for deep discounts. Same article from there. May 27th. Major U.S. retailers that recently scrambled to restock shelves and product shortages disclosed this week that their stores are now packed with too much merchandise, and some are even doing what was unthinkable just a few months ago, discounting unsold goods. This is what you would call deflationary pressure. Too much shit, not enough buyers. Inflation is worldwide in general, but yeah, it's a sign of a more possible trouble to come for retailers amid soaring inflation and higher gas prices. With shoppers' tastes quickly shifting, many retailers now find themselves with a surplus of merchandise, driving up costs. Costco, wholesale corp, Cost.O, said its inventories ballooned 26% in its fiscal third quarter ended May 8th that include a few $100 million of extra holiday merchandise and being a little heavy on small appliances and household items. At Gap, a 34% spike in inventories was caused by poor sales at Old Navy and longer transit times for goods. Similarly, Macy's CEO Jeff Gennett says this week cited an imbalance in inventory. Supply chain constraints relaxed, resulting in it receiving goods from overseas earlier than we expected, he said, because they moved some of the shit away from China and they changed suppliers. Meanwhile, shoppers changed buying patterns, buying fewer home items while snapping up occasion-based clothing and other merchandise, swim trunks, towels, beachwear, flip-flops. Average retail inventories in the United States are rising at a faster pace than sales growth, according to Citi Research on 18 retailers' first quarter results as of May 22nd. At 11 of the 18, inventories rose by 10 percentage points more than sales did. These people are assholes. This is going to crash prices. I don't know why.
What he's setting us up here is for his vision, this woke vision.
Yes, woke being a bad word involves more brown people.
Of a fossil-free economy.
Well, we don't. I think you mean fossil fuel. We don't. Our economy doesn't largely run on fossils. I did when I was a kid. I got fossilized dinosaur poop at Mammoth Cave, and it was one of my prized possessions. I wish I still had it.
Which is going to do enormous damage to the economy. It'll put it in a permanent recession.
No, it won't. There's no such thing as a permanent recession.
It'll cause millions.
Americans losing confidence in Biden economy. No, they're losing confidence in the economy you're selling them.
Of job losses and rising unemployment. And of course, as you can see, the gas prices and the diesel prices and the world oil price. I mean, that's gone back to $120. So inflation is going to rage. He had no plan today. He wants fossil free. He knows it's
fossil fuel free. I know it's 3 F's in a row, but
going to cause a recession, and I don't think they care. And I think all.
Yes, they don't care. I mean, it's not like he wants to run again or get other Democrats elected. He doesn't care if there's a recession. Part of it, the whole thing is just about destroying the United States. It's why he ran.
All this talk in this Wall Street Journal article about a transition, I think he's saying it's a transition to fossil-free, and it's a transition to recession, and they're trying to sugarcoat it, and people are going to see right through it.
It's just, and it's not at all gibberish.
So it's a terrible ploy. I mean, look, you want to end inflation? I got a plan, okay?
All right, let's hear it. Here, end inflation. Here it comes.
This will call it the Kudlow Hannity plan, because, you know, I think you're moving up the ladder to a B or a B plus in economics.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I got a bad grade last week.
Yeah. I'm picking it up here. I'm absolutely picking.
I don't know what that references to, other than both of these guys have a terrible understanding of the current economic state of the world.
Look, a domestic spending freeze, cut tax rates for supply side economic growth.
Yeah, what a weird thing. Cut taxes. Sure.
Open up the spigots for drilling of.
Open up the spigots. You don't have to drill spigots. They already exist.
Oil and gas and pipelines.
There are 9,000 unused oil and gas leases.
Deregulate business.
That's what it is. That's what's killing business right now is regulations. It's, you know what, that's what did in the whole baby formula market. You know what I mean? Let's deregulate. We don't need all this FDA testing. You just get that shit out there.
Yeah, you can frack.
Yeah, you can frack. Yes, we're already fracking. Ask West Texas. What the new earthquake? Here you go. Hold on. There you go. Earthquakes in Texas doubled in 2021. Scientists cite years of oil companies injecting sludgy water underground. The surge in seismic activity from increased underground pressure is shaking the West Texas ground and rattling longtime residents. Fuck them. Midland, hey, it's poor George W. is waking up in the middle of the night. Isn't that where his farm is? One local said it sounded like a pickup truck had rammed into the side of their house. Another said it sounded like an air conditioner fell off the roof. A third compared the experience to getting off of a roller coaster, dizzy and a bit shaky. Honestly, I don't think this has to do with fracking. I think this is entirely to do with all the Californians that have moved there. We bring earthquakes with us, apparently. In the hardest ones we've experienced, there's a bunch of shaking and the picture shook off the walls. Christina Bach, 45, who lives in Gardendale, a rural community north of Odessa in the heart of West Texas oil and gas country. Earthquakes have dislodged her deck from the house and left cracks in her walls, she said. You hear a loud bang. If you're outside, you assume it's a car wreck or that something exploded outside, said Bach, a paralegal who's lived in Gardendale for 13 years. The scary thing is that they're happening pretty much daily at this point. Hey, there you go. Texans rattled by seismic activity in 2021. There you go. Surging 209 earthquakes. Yeah. You can frack. Go ahead. Just go ahead and frack it. Go frack yourself.
All of business. Stop these price controls.
What price controls are you fucking talking about?
And then protect King Dollar. The Fed is going to have to raise interest rates and take some cash out of the economy. Now,
bullshit.
That would be an anti-inflation plan.
No, it isn't. It has nothing to do with it. This is a supply shock related price impact. This has nothing to do with inflation. There is not too much money in the fucking system. Hold on one second. Like, this is the same bullshit these assholes have been talking about for years, and every time they call this shit, we end up with a recession because it's the only way they can figure out a way to stabilize the mess they made in the first place. It's all like driving a cruise ship by yanking the wheel back and forth like fucking crazy. Hold on one second. What was I going to say before? There was something I wanted. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Liquidity. Liquidity means there's lots of money sloshing around in the system. Think of the green stuff as water just flowing through there. Treasury market faces liquidity risk as Fed pairs balance sheet. I got it. The fucking Reuters. I'm gonna have to sign up for this shit again. Has the junk bond market? Okay, liquidity. Fed's beige book finds economy moderating concern about the future. Okay, forward than in the end. Economic theories prevail. U.S. stocks end lower as investors fret over economy, inflation, and Fed. Was quantitative tightening. That's what they're currently doing now. Economic storm clouds are brewing. There's not enough money in the system.
But that's not what
worldwide
you saw in the paper today.
That's because he's dealing with the actual problems, not the fantasy problems that Republicans wish it was. Like you're in some sort of Volcker-esque bullshit from the Reagan years.
Just saw in the paper today is no oil and gas production increases.
There you go. Whoops. Oh, you bastard. Get out of here. Joe Biden, my plan for fighting inflation. I won't meddle with the Fed, but I will tackle high prices while guiding the economy's transition to stable and steady growth. The global economy faces serious challenges. Inflation is elevated, exacerbated by Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. Energy markets are in turmoil. Supply chains that haven't fully healed are causing shortages and price hikes. Americans are anxious. I know that feeling. I grew up in a family that it mattered, blah, blah, blah. In January 2021, when I took office, recovery had stalled and COVID was out of control. It was less than a year and a half. My administration's economic vaccination plans helped achieve the most robust recovery in modern history. Job market's the strongest since the post-World War II era, with 8.3 million new jobs, fastest decline in unemployment on record, millions of Americans getting jobs with better pay, which is partly why prices went up temporarily and why companies flooded their stores with inventory because people were flush with cash that they could spend and they figured they'd use it, and they were wrong. Since I took office, families have increased their savings and have less debt. And a recent Federal Reserve report found that a higher percentage of Americans reported feeling financially comfortable at the end of 2021 than at any time since the survey began in 2013. Business investment is up 20%. Manufacturing jobs are growing at the fastest rate in 30 years. There were more new small business applications in 2021 than in any previous year. The U.S. is in a better economic position than almost any other country. This is true, blah, blah, blah. According to the IMF, the U.S. economy will be larger at the end of this year relative to its pre-pandemic size than any of the Group 7 economies, than any other Group of 7 economy. The U.S. economy has grown faster this year than China's economy for the first time since 1976. With the right policies, the U.S. can transition from recovery to stable, steady growth and bring down inflation without giving up all these historic gains. And he's right, by the way, and prices are going to come down this fall, and there's going to be a huge Black Friday, and Christmas is going to be even easier than it was last year, and that's just reality. Crazy. I ran for president because I was tired of the so-called trickle-down economy. First, the Federal Reserve has a primary responsibility to control inflation. They don't do it, though, which is it's common misconception. It's the Volckerization of it, and it's all nonsense, but that's the common thought. Second, we need to take every practical step we can make to make things more affordable for families during this moment of economic uncertainty, boost the productive capacity of our economy over time. The price of the pump is elevated in large part because of Russian oil, gas, and refining capacity are off the market. We can't let up on our global effort to punish Mr. Putin for what he's done, and we must mitigate these effects for American consumers. That's why I led the largest release from global oil reserves in history. Congress could help right away by passing clean energy tax credits and investments that I have proposed. A dozen CEOs of America's largest utility companies told me earlier this year that my plan would reduce the average family's annual utility bills by $500 and accelerate our transition from energy produced by autocrats, meaning oil from the Middle East and from Russia and coal from elsewhere. We can also reduce the cost of everyday goods by fixing broken supply chains, improving infrastructure, and cracking down on the exorbitant fees that foreign ocean freight companies charge to move products. That's the $19,000 shipping container thing that we saw at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. My housing supply action plan will make housing more affordable by building more than 1 million more units. By the way, everybody's clamoring that the housing market is going to crash because prices are artificially up because there's not enough, there aren't enough houses on the market, and there's still not enough houses for people who want them. So we're going to have to keep building. We can reduce the price of prescription drugs by giving Medicare the power to negotiate. Okay. Third, we need to keep reducing the federal deficit. Okay. My plan will reduce the deficit even more by making common sense reforms of the tax code. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's fine. They hate it because it doesn't involve more oil and gas drilling.
More Build Back Better for $5 trillion.
That's not in there at all.
Tax wealthy people, successful earners, and corporations, and regulate business left and right. So it's the exact opposite, okay? And that is the problem.
It's angry drunk, Larry, today.
And that's why this inflation is not going away.
Yes, it is, and it's not inflation.
All right, so we'll beg OPEC, and they'll reject us again. They'll do a bad deal with Iran. That's really dumb, making the mullahs rich again. Do business with the murdering dictator thug in Venezuela. But let me go to the part B of my question, which was for every American that has money in the stock market, a 401k, an IRA, whatever it happens
Bitcoin
to be. What do you say to them as they...
What do you say to all of them who've watched Bitcoin crash because most of Hannity's viewers and a lot of Kudlow's viewers have bought into the Bitcoin run?
See their hard-earned retirement money
ebb and flow like the fucking stock market does on a regular basis. It basically recovered most of its losses in the last 2 weeks. Hold on. Dow. One day, 5 day, but one day, but 5 day, and then it wavers. There you go. Basically, it's like evening out. It's like it was back at its, it was above this point. It hit, what is it, a month ago? A couple months ago, 1 month ago, it hit 34,000. Now it's going to jag back down. It'll go back up. And like, this is the peak. Fuck off with this nonsense. 0.75% in the past month. Dude, 248 points. Oh my God. Out of 32,813. Get the fuck out of here. In the last week. Here's the oh God. These people are so fucking dumb.
Dwindling by the hour.
Well, look I believe in
staying the course.
Stocks for the long run.
Right. So you don't get out and they're not dwindling by the hour.
This woke big government socialism from Joe Biden,
which doesn't exist,
that's damaging the real value of stocks.
No, it isn't. They're overvalued. Everybody says so. What the fuck are you talking about?
Is going to go away. It's not going to last. The cavalry's coming. The Congress is going to change.
No, it isn't.
In 2022,
No, it isn't.
November.
No, it isn't.
And so will the White House in 24.
No, it won't.
Look at Sean. My advice is, folks, don't sell.
Right. Because it's going to recover. And it has nothing to do with the fucking government. Jesus Christ. What, Murph? What's going on? Okay, hold on. I'm getting near the end of the show, and the cats want attention. Hold on 1 second. What's going on, buddy? Hi. What's happening? What's going on? Are you okay? What do you want? Okay, hold on. I know they want to see you. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. Hi. Hi, buddy. Come here. I know. Come here. Come here. I know, silly. I know you're very grumpy, but everybody wants to see you. They want to know what I'm going after. They want to see what a beautiful boy you are. Murphy. I know. You're very grumpy. I know. Well, tell them. Yeah? Well, say something to these folks. Yeah? Well, then how come? Are you? You sure? What is it? Well, how come? All right. I'm trying. Well, his name's Larry Kudlow, and he's not very nice. It's true. Here you go. What's going on, buddy? What's going on? Murphy's a handsome man. He's a handsome kitty. You are. You're grumpy, but you're handsome. You are a grumpy kitty. There you go. All right. Hold on. Can you hold on? Yeah, I know. There you go, buddy. Oh, I see. That's why. Because Chip just walked by, and he makes you grumpy. Mm-hmm. Look at this. This is Murphy. Yeah. You want to go down? Okay. You're not going to like it, though. Because Chip's right there. He's blocking the door. And you're going to be all... You're going to hiss. See? I told you. You can see him. He's right... It's okay. It's all right, buddy. I know. It's okay. Okay. Go on. Hop down. And then... I know. And then you don't leave. You jump down like you don't want me to touch you. And then... Where do you go? I know. All right. Okay. Hi, Chip. What's going on, buddy? Chip, I think they want to see you too. Come here. They want to see what Murphy's fighting over. They want to see what Murphy is upset about. They want to see big Chip. Chipple. There's Chip. How are you? Hi, buddy. You came down to say hi, and Murphy got all mad at you, and he swatted at you. What a jerk. What a jerk. What a jerk. I know. Look how big Chip is. He's a big kitty. He's a big kitty. That's a good kitty. Mm-hmm. You gonna hop down too? Go ahead. Ow. You got your claw in my finger, silly. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, the Larry Kudlow being a miserable puke. Hold on. I gotta get my headphones back before Chip starts attacking them. And they've got cat hair on them too. I really have to work out these Christmas lights. I got to work out my headphones again so I can have some portable ones. All right, here we go. Jesus.
I actually think the stock market has more downside, okay? We have not seen the bottom, but I would still say don't sell. Buy as the market goes down. Stocks for the long run is the best way to do it. And finally, if you have some...
Well, not if the fucking economy's going to collapse and it's the end of the world and Joe Biden's socialism's going to destroy everything, asshole. If any of what you say is true, none of that is true.
Cash... Buy the Treasury savings bonds. They're called I-bonds.
Yes, buy American savings bonds right now because the future of the federal government debt is bright. Jesus Christ, this asshole. He's saying this because of infrastructure.
They're indexed for inflation. The yield is about 10%. So try a savings bond and...
This motherfucker, I can't, these assholes. Biden's fucking president... And he's telling people to buy U.S. savings bonds while telling you out the other side of his fucking mouth that the entire economy is going to collapse. What a jerk off. I swear to God, this is just embarrassing. This asshole, honestly, I don't think anybody watching this is seeing just how contradictory what this asshole is saying.
Stay in the market. Do not
stay in the market and buy savings bonds. Yes, that's exactly what you tell people when Biden's socialism Green New Deal is going to wreck the whole fucking economy. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're collapsing. So invest now. It's right, West. US bonds will always be safe. God, what a dipshit. And the rate's going up. God, oh, fuck, he's an idiot.
Time the market, stocks in the long run, the cavalry's coming. These crazy woke policies are not going to last the test of time.
Larry, the cavalry will start in 2023, assuming the Republicans take over the House and Senate.
Yeah, but it's obviously everything's going to crash, right? You just told me everything's going to fucking. You see, Sean, you're starting to see a hole in his fucking argument.
But you need the House, the Senate, and the White House to really get the job done. So this.
Yeah, you're not going to get either. You're not going to get any of them.
This is going to be.
Yes.
This is going to be a lot longer than people wish. I know for sure. All right.
No, you don't. You don't know any of this shit. Most of these motherfuckers think we're actually experiencing monetary inflation. God damn, this is
Larry
stupid.
Kudlow, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity.
Oh my God, Larry Kudlow, thank you.